All right, y'all. We are back with another episode of the Brothers-in-Law podcast. It's your humble host, Imani, your brother-in-law.
Conrad, we here.
I got my fellow brother-in-law here. We got a special guest today. I'm very excited. I got my man, Hawk Newsome, in the building.
Right on.
If you don't know, you about to. Can't wait to get into your story. Before we get into it, just for those who are tuning in for the first time, here at the Brothers-in-Law podcast, we talk about all things life and all things law and how those things intersect. You know, initially it was a Know Your Rights podcast, but you know, things have grown since then. We have guests who come and speak more about the life and the experiences and how they've been impacted by the law in some kind of way.
Right on.
So that's what we do here. Hawk, I've done some research on you, but I also would love for you to introduce yourself. Tell the people about who you are.
Interesting.
I appreciate that, man. Hawk Newsome, servant of God, servant of the people, co-founder of Black Lives Matter Greater New York, co-founder of Black Opportunities.
Okay.
According to AI, I'm top 10 dead or alive in activism.
Heard you.
All your talk.
Yeah. From the Bronx.
Yes, indeed. I'm from
Avid cigar smoker.
Come on, man.
Hey, man.
Yes, indeed. I grew up 5 blocks from Yankee Stadium. Shout out to the Yankees. I don't know when it's airing, but hopefully we'll be World Series champions.
Hopefully.
You know what I'm saying?
You know.
Always been on 163rd and Sheridan. Wound up, I dropped out of high school.
Okay.
Played low ball, went back to school. Played on one of the best AAU teams ever assembled in New York or the country.
Wow.
I played with Ron Artest, Metta World Peace. He won the chip with Kobe. Same team we had Elton Brand. He was an NBA All-Star, went on to be the GM for the 76ers.
Okay.
And like 3-4 other All-Americans. We had a crew, bro. And I was like, they was like playing the Junior Olympics. I was thugging and bugging.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Smoking weed, packing Newports a day. Like, I didn't know. But finally God got me, and my parents got me back on track.
Yeah.
Went to college. Then I went to work for Robert Johnson.
Okay.
At the DA's office. My parents were really happy about that. I was a paralegal.
Okay.
So a lot of people, you know, they see you as an activist or a revolutionary. They like, you just out there screaming.
Right.
Actually,
Right.
I worked at this prosecutor's office. I know that all these prosecutors in there see us as all as perps.
Right.
See us all as criminals, right? Our parents, our grandmothers, anybody in that vicinity.
Right.
And then I left there. I went to Wilson L. So I was like, if I'm going to be a sellout, I might as well sell all the way out and get to the bag.
When you went to the DA's office, did you was that strategic for you, or you thought it was actually going to be an agent of change for you?
No, I didn't. I knew it was an easy way to get into law school.
Okay.
And I was coming out of college with a 2.6.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to kind of like build up my stats in other ways to get accepted into law school.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what led me to the DA's office, which was kind of dope.
Yeah.
Because I got to see the system for what it was.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got to see how they railroad our people. I can tell a story?
Yeah.
All right. So I walked in to one of their offices. Actually, the dudes whose picture was on the bulletin board, on the, what you call those things? Cork board. His brother went to school with my sister. Right? And I'm like, I say to the 88, this is the nicest, sweetest man you ever want to meet. Little Italian dude named Vince Aguero. And I'm like, yo, why do you have this picture up? Not telling him that I know him, but it's just random. He was like, yo, I was about to toss his case, and he pled and took a year. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, this is the nicest person here.
Right.
And he railroaded this brother just because he could. So
about to dismiss the case.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was dirty. So I had to get out of there. So I went to Wilson Elser, which is a huge personal injury insurance defense firm, and then I went to law school.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm happy you're able to tell that story. I don't want to go too much into the details as to why, but we had an episode with some people who represented the DA's office. We had to take it down. It was nice to be able to share some stories freely.
In that case, I would be in the supervisor's office, and a DA would come in and be like, yo, there's nothing here.
Right.
I've looked at every angle, and the supervisor would say, look at his record. There's something there, find it.
Wow.
And this was Rob Johnson. Mm-hmm. This was the black DA who was on our side.
Mm-hmm. Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you left the DA's office.
I went to Wilson Ulcer. I managed 26 offices.
Okay.
So we would get a lot of cases that were fixed fee cases outside of the regular cases. We had all the World Trade Center cases, all the ACE group, all the Prudential cases. And what I would do is make sure that offices were coming in under the fixed fee so we could make money.
Okay.
So I used to just sit in my office and crunch numbers. And pretty much I was a sheriff to all these like rich white people, rich, high powered, high ego white folks, you know, the khakis and Oxford Brook Brothers Audi drivers.
Heard.
You know what I'm saying? The A8 too, not the A6. You know what I'm saying? So, they would, and I would just, what they would do is they use my reports to kick people off accounts. Oh. You know what I'm saying? So you bought an account, you underperforming, Hawk is going to expose you, and I would just type the nicest email and say, oh, but you really ain't shit because of A, B, C, and D, and then step back. And they'd be like, and naturally they attacked me.
Right.
And then the partners, the operations group would jump them. And, you know, I would do things like, I'm serious about work.
Right.
I think, I found like one of the partners was not taking care of local counsel. And I found like $300,000 that we owed to local counsel.
Wow.
And exposed her. I think what the last straw was for me was I kind of hit this black man non-lawyer glass ceiling, and it was a toxic tort. Nuclear spill, something like that. A lot of people sick, and our insurance company sold the policy to another insurance company.
Okay.
There was a mix-up in dates, but the liability fell on a new company.
Okay.
And I crunched numbers for like a whole weekend. Like, I mean, I'd be in the office till 1 o'clock in the morning, come back at 7, an entire weekend, and I shifted the liability.
Right.
Made the client $20 million.
Wow.
Whoa.
These niggas wouldn't give me $20,000 for a raise.
You lying.
So I stopped going to work. Right? And anytime they'll bring me in, you know, they'll be like, oh, what's wrong? I'll be like, oh, my dad's sick. I feel like the world's closing in on me. You know, white people love that emotional stuff. Oh, my dad's sick. I don't know. I just feel like I'm just riding a tidal wave. They're like, that never ends good.
Right.
But no, so you want to screw me.
Right.
So I'm going to screw you. I went to school. I went to work 5 times from September to December.
Wow.
And I was like, I showed up to work and they were like, yo, you still work here? But I was an individual component, so nobody really
noticed.
As long as I just submitted my reports.
Right.
So it was actually interesting. They fired me on New Year's. That was my first year of law school.
Wow.
They fired me on New Year's. I was like, yo, I'm coming, you know, when can I come back to it? It's not a job here for you. I was like, do I get unemployment? They was like, yes, unemployment throughout law school.
What?
Oh.
That's for the struggle. That's for black people across America.
What inspired you to go to law school?
I played ball. Like, you know, I was serious about basketball. And the only thing that I ever really liked professionally was lawyers, right? Like the legal profession, because I felt like it was so adversarial. Because it's you against opposing counsel, and it's, you know, a battle of wits, and then it's all these dramatic arguments. Like, I always wanted to be a litigator.
I was gonna ask, so you like litigation?
Yeah.
That's the New York in you who likes it because of the adversary corner. Like, you know, I want to fight. Yeah, what's up?
Let's get it. Let's get to it. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But so that's definitely, it was like, okay, so I'm not gonna play basketball. Since while we telling life stories, it was the last year of college, and I always thought I was going to go pro, and it was like, this is tough.
Yeah.
I always thought I was going to go pro, and it was like, this is not happening. I didn't get any letters to any NBA camps, and there was a few overseas scouts that wanted to see me come and play. And my coach was like, I got you. Don't go to none of those scouts.
Right.
And I'm going to link you up with a contract and you good. I couldn't get in touch with this man. July and August. And I was just sitting in my, I was sitting in a dark room because I was sad. Because like them N1 mixtape dudes, I used to get them like 30, 40. I wasn't no Kobe or LeBron, but I was more like a Barkley. And I used to get numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I used to play ball. And I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Am I going to go overseas? And, or I'm going to go back to school. And the game was good to me. It got me through college. I traveled all over the world. Basketball owes me nothing. So I went back to school and decided I was going to go to law school. And that's where it happened.
Got you.
Yeah.
So you went to law school.
Yeah.
You decided not to pursue a career as a lawyer.
Oh, wow.
What was that?
Bro, I went to 2 law schools. I went to Toro,
Okay.
which is really Jewish, and then I did a visiting student year at Howard, which is really black. I give all credit to Howard. Even though Toro let me in, when nobody would let me in a law school, they're like, nigga, you got 4-5 arrests, a 2.6. You are not law school material. My God said otherwise.
I have a similar story. Like I only applied to 2 law schools. I applied to many law schools. Only got into 2. Both were were not highly touted schools. And then I did my first year of law school in John Marshall in Chicago. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to transfer. I applied to 2 schools. Howard and Georgetown.
There it is.
I chose Georgetown, just for the rep and all that.
Of course.
To this day, I'm second guessing myself. Should I have gone to Howard? Should I have got that experience? So,
bro, I just realistically, because Toro don't mess with me because I'm so mean. I'm a black revolutionary, so they be like, Although I'm might be one of the most successful graduates in the history of the institution.
Yeah.
I don't get invited back.
Wow.
So I'm about to hit up Howard and be like, yo, can I just get this honorary degree?
Right.
So I ain't even got to claim these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. So it's Howard changed my life.
Really?
Because I was already in law school, but going to Howard, I had the opportunity to see. This is why I think everybody should go to an HBCU, especially us. You see so many black people from a different socioeconomic status. Like you would come out of the law library and there's black dudes jumping out of Lambos. They did not rap one lyric. They did not shoot one jump shot. They just had old money. Right, Bentleys, and you come outside and is brothers dressed like Carlton Banks in front of the law library hitting golf balls. And I'm like, nobody spoke slang for 2 months.
Wow.
On campus, right? And I was like, where did they create these Negroes? You know what I'm saying? It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. And then what I realized was, major firms, white shoe firms, and Fortune 100 corporations were coming to Howard to get their black people, right? Because everybody thinks, I got to go to this school, I got to go to that. No, you go to Howard, and you will be sought after.
It's the Ivy League of the HBCU.
That's it. It's black Harvard. You know what I'm saying? So it was just being around and then being in class with so many smart people. And it was this passion. You know what I mean? And the year after that, Trayvon Martin happened. When I went back to Toro, Trayvon happened. I organized a rally at Toro, which was special. You had old Jewish dudes, lawyers, judges coming out in hoodies for Trayvon. Then I started fighting, and then we started marching in the city. A year after that, I graduated. Eric Garner got killed. Once I went into the streets with Eric Garner, it took my life.
It was a wrap.
It was a wrap. Now, the bar exam. I would never give the bar exam its pound of flesh. Right?
Me neither.
You know what I'm saying? So I took it a couple of times and never passed because I'm in the middle of the bar exam, and Jameek Lowry gets killed in police custody. So every day I'm back and forth to Jersey. I can't give 8 hours to studying when I'm fighting for this man's life. I got his mother outside of the news station. We going live and we going back and forth. So it was always something.
Yeah.
You know, where I never really sat down it. But the flip side of it, how many revolutionaries that's on the front lines in Charlottesville? I was in Charlottesville fighting that day. You know, George Floyd, we was there the next day. Right? We helped BLM Minnesota with communications the day they started protesting. Like, but I'm out there on the front line. My team is strong. My sister got a degree in economics. Like, we got a school in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Like, we deep intellectually,
Right.
but we run around, you know,
Right.
just to show them
Right.
that we don't have to look like you.
Right.
I don't have to put on your suit,
Right.
wear your funky ass khakis, right? To be looked at as intelligent. Nah, we got this looking like this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fuck with that mindset so heavy. As soon as I'm done with court every day, Imani knows immediately I'm in something like this.
Yes.
Or I'm wearing like basketball shorts, gym shorts, and stuff, like just comfortable. And Imani knows I used to come into the office.
Yo,
with my
let me tell the story. So like we did not know each other before we got hired together.
Okay.
We're the only two black people hired in our practice.
In your class.
In our class.
Yeah.
So like, but naturally we would have gravitated to one another. But like before we got close, I remember coming to work early and like Conrad pulls up. This man has a beater on. So some shorts, a do-rag on,
I love it.
and some headphones on,
Yeah.
like rapping some Jeezys. I'm like, yo,
Good.
this is my man's. Like,
This is-
like
yeah.
we both got law degrees. We both are in a prestigious public defender office, and like we can show up how we want to show up, and like it doesn't mean how we actually represent in our education.
That's insane.
I rock with this man
I
everything.
want to hear it. Yo, on God, how old are you?
31,
32. Yeah.
I'm about 40 something-ish.
Or something.
Yeah, I'm 47, proudly,
Wow.
right? Because I'm still fly.
Yes, sir.
My woman looks good, and everybody's happy. Everybody eating. I'm good. I don't want any other job. I got my dream job. You couldn't hire me to do anything else,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
My best friend, till this day, I was his paralegal at the DA's office. You know what I'm saying? Me and him, this is back when I used to smoke. You know what I'm saying? We leave the office, we light up, we get in the car, we go on the party. You know what I'm saying? Like me and Josh lived.
Yeah.
Josh Edwards, he works for, Vonnie, who you work for? The Rothschild.
Wow.
Josh is,
Yeah.
one of them ones. Who's the guy, the reality star was like, call such and such, call Daryl,
Okay.
right? She was like, people was talking about her, call Daryl, this call Daryl. Well, Daryl is Josh's senior partner. They represent almost everybody black in entertainment. And it's my right-hand man.
Yeah.
And Josh left the DA's office to do an internship with the Wayans brothers.
Wow.
Right? And he was working in a sushi restaurant in Beverly Hills, and his mother's like, Lord, you know, you left New York. You was a lawyer, now you're serving sushi. You know what I'm saying? God bless her.
Right.
And it was hard to see his dream. He went from that. He worked for Will Smith, and he was my ex-girlfriend went to she was leaving the Obama administration to go and work in Hollywood, producing films. She went to meet with the head of Nickelodeon, I think it was. No funny stuff. It was a woman.
Yeah.
And Josh was her personal assistant.
Wow.
Josh literally went up the rough side of the mountain. He got his business degree, and now, bruh, he got a white Porsche, electric joint.
Right.
He live on the 40-something floor overlooking the Staples Center, and he's traveling the country. So y'all are like a younger version of us. You know what I mean? Like, he went Johnny Cochran, I went Malcolm X.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that like Josh, like, it's a brotherhood being in those spaces and being the only black person. Because Josh told me about suits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm up at work with a 4-button suit on, looking like Steve Harvey. And Josh, like, we don't do that. He took me to where to buy the good ties, and he taught me how to button. So that brotherhood is something I respect and admire. Yeah.
It's real.
So you founded Black Lives Matter Greater New York. Can you talk through like what was that inspiration? What exactly is the work that you do through it?
Wow. So I've co-founded Black Lives Matter Greater New York with my sister, Chivona Newsome. And
Who's in the building? What's up? Yeah. Shout out.
Right on. And we were in New York City, and I was a member of other groups, like, famous activist organizations. And it was a really special time for me because around that time, I was giving my life to God, right? So a lot of things that I used to do, I stopped doing. So it was like this pure path, right? And as I'm looking to find my way, I looked up, and we've been marching around saying Black Lives Matter for 2-3 years, and the only Black Lives Matter group in New York was Soft. I know you're a little young. I sound like a toxic nigga. I am a very hardcore masculine man. That's who I am. I'm proud of it. But do I cry? Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm in tune with my emotions, but I'm about as hard as they come.
Yeah.
We talking 300, Maximus, raw. You know what I'm saying? Like, words. So, so they were soft, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I told you, we was in Charlottesville fighting.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, blows, blood, getting hit in the head with rocks.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was,
really
we was
fighting,
squabbling
wow.
in Charlottesville against white supremacists.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people, I'm a soldier and I'm in it and I'm fighting. No, bro. I mean, we laying people down. Some of us getting beat up. It's real.
Yeah.
It's smoke. It's blood. It's sweat. It's people screaming. This was what Charlottesville was. And then when the smoke started clearing, people started marching around. We was sitting down eating, and that's when we heard about Heather Heyer. When she got hit. God bless her soul, hit by the car. But while we was out there, Black Lives Matter, the New York group, was at Afropunk selling books.
Wow.
What?
Right.
Wow.
Wait. Y'all dead on this whole Black Lives Matter thing in New York.
Yeah.
We gonna give New York what it deserves.
Right.
And we did that.
So
and
your organization is entirely separate than like the national.
yeah, no, we've bumped heads with National.
Right.
These National is crazy. It's like
About what kinds of things do y'all bump heads about?
Oh, philosophies. I went to this Trump rally, and this was a month after Charlottesville, and they invited me on stage.
What?
Word. And we went there to fight. We was 8 deep. It was like 2,000 of them. And what we got is like deep. Knives. We just stupid like that. You know what I'm saying? We just stupid like that. We standing on black liberation, and God got us, so we walking into the fire.
Yeah.
And they invited us on stage, and walking in up toward the stage, it was like the skies open. God never spoke to me so clear in my life. He was like, make them understand who you are. So then it switched the speech that I was going to give from you are A, B, C, D, and white supremacists on top of that to I want y'all to understand what we're doing out here. So I went on stage and I said, I'm an American. They went crazy. They absolutely lost their mind. I'm an American. My people built this country. What else I'm claiming? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is mine. And I went on to talk about the Bible, and I said something along the lines of loving thy neighbor, and if thy neighbor is thirsty, then give him a cup of water, right? And I said it didn't say that neighbor had to be from the continental United States of America. So that hit the whole immigration issue like over the head, because now you're a hypocrite.
Right.
I'm just making you agree with me calling you a hypocrite. In essence.
I think I remember seeing this.
Yeah, thank you, law school, right? Because you're agreeing with me calling you, pointing out your hypocrisies.
Right.
Thank you. And then I said something about the beauty of America is when something is broke, you can fix it. So when you see a man get choked to death after saying I can't breathe 11 times, you can mobilize and fix it. And they was like, Like,
Wow.
this nigger, hard ER,
Yeah.
is right. Right?
Yeah.
And it was one of those moments where it was one of those come together moments. Do I believe in come together moments? Not if they don't have a long lasting effect. But that moment was very special. That moment solidified that I could communicate with our enemies as well as I could communicate with us. Now, this is something that I choose not to do because I don't want to go out there and pacify and convince white people what's right and what's wrong because white people know what's right and what's wrong.
Not our job, too.
Exactly. Like I'm here to unify and uplift black people. But after that happened, BLM Global called me to the table. I went to the table. It was like, you know, a lot of our donors don't agree with that, and we got kids to feed and rent to pay. I said, hold on. So you mean to tell me, this is what I'm processing, y'all got white folks who tell y'all what y'all can and cannot say. That's all right. We don't need to be a member of your organization. Y'all do what y'all do. We do what we do. But we not letting go of this name Black Lives Matter because we've been going to jail and fighting and just carrying this blood-stained banner for so long that we not giving you this name back. You stupid. This belongs to the people.
Right.
At the time, it was 30-something BLM official chapters and 400 BLM affiliated. You understand what I'm saying? And the thing was, we outside putting in work.
Right.
We working across the country.
Yeah.
And y'all doing all this artsy-fartsy stuff, which is cute. I love it. I go and see these independent black films, and I saw one the other day. What was it called? Exhibition Forgiveness. Special.
Right.
Not just a special movie for black people to make or a special movie for white people, just a special movie.
Yeah.
So I get with the artsy-fartsy stuff, right? But we got cops killing black people. We got a racist mayor. Bro, when Donald Trump accused me of treason personally, they disavowed me. He was like, the Black Lives Matter leader is guilty of treason, sedition, and insurrection. It was like, he's not one of us.
Wow.
And released a statement like, bro, we got we getting thousands of death threats and you want to disavow me now?
Right.
Like, I get it. You done disavowed me a couple of times before, but like.
At all times right now.
Now, I got Navy SEALs talking about you're a threat and my sole existence is to eliminate threats. Right? Like we spent $60,000 in getting arms training. Our whole team got weapons proficient, self-defense, bulletproof cars.
That's some Black Panther type shit, bro.
We had to, bro.
Yeah.
It was real for us out here.
Yeah.
So we pride ourselves in being on the front lines all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Special, man.
And what would you say is like the nature of your work now? People say, well, what do you do? What would you say that is?
Well, I fight for the liberation of black people
Okay.
in a very strategic way.
Okay.
I live on 163rd and Sheridan Ave. Shiesty Ave.
I used to live on 165 in Grand Concourse.
See, you right there. We're in Executive Towers?
Yeah, that's where I live.
Oh, right there. You
Right there.
You know Flavor Flav used to live in that
I
place.
heard the same story.
He used to shoot the guns off the road. I used to go to his house. He used to sell chocolate.
Wow.
I used to go there and cop nickel bags.
Wow.
Okay, the chocolate. Word.
I was
And
right
Flav, you go in Flav house and he had the real live alien costume from the movie.
Yeah.
And he was like, say what's up to my nigga. You used to have to get the costume 5. He was like the guard at the door. You know what I'm saying? Flav was a good dude. He used to take us out to eat. You know what I'm saying? Flav was a good dude.
I live right
A
there.
lot of love in the community.
Yeah.
So, what do? I fight for our people
Yeah.
in a very strategic way. People say our schools aren't teaching our kids the right way.
Yeah.
We own a school in the South Bronx, a Montessori school.
Wow.
People say you aren't holding these politicians accountable. Me and my sister went head to head with Mayor Eric Adams when he was the mayor-elect. They wrote a letter to the police. We used harsh words. They wrote a letter to the feds
Necessary.
asking for us to be prosecutors, domestic terrorists.
What?
Mayor Eric Adams went to all the black elected officials and said disavow him.
Of course.
They banned us from the news for like 8-9 months till we just kept doing stuff that they couldn't ignore us on. But we went head to head with this man, and Black New York was like, they kind of fell back, bro. Like, you know how you go to fight with somebody?
Yeah.
And they behind you, and you throw a blow and look back, and you fighting everybody, and like your man's ran.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They left us on the battlefield, and you know, like man, Adams did some foul stuff to us. One of the huge sporting sports teams in New York, huge. Gives us food, takes care of us. They was giving us food, and Adams wanted us to get a permit. And I'm like, you're not making me get a permit to feed my people. They called the team and stopped the food.
Wow.
This is how your mayor plays.
Yeah.
Food for people in Harlem.
She said
This is food. No, and then Juneteenth. We had an event on Juneteenth, and he pulled my permit the night before. Now, it was a rush permit, but everybody with a little juice in the city gets a rush permit, right? And we got a rush permit. It was approved, and then he pulled it at 7 o'clock after we done threw out thousands of dollars. So my sister records his chief advisor. Everybody record them, the feds, us, everybody, some dumb niggas. So, so the feds, so my sister records it, and she's like, everybody wanted to let it happen. It was Eric. It came from the top. Okay, so we what I told you, strategic.
Right.
We released that to the news. And then we said, we having our event. We cleaned out the cars. We cleaned up the neighborhood. They sent community affairs through a white woman. I don't understand. Y'all work in our community. It's the blackest, brownest county in maybe the entire country.
Yes.
Right? And the head of community affairs for that local police department is a white woman.
Wow.
Which I have a problem with, right? And she called for backup. Next thing I know, they waited till I left. My sister was on the block with my cousin blocking off the parking spaces. They waited until I left, sent 6 cars, right? Then we came back, we arguing. They sent 20 cars, helicopters. They had the Suburban with the drones that fly out the top. They got drones on, monitoring our conversation. So I'm watching the dude who flies the drones walk, and he got a earbud in his ear.
Right.
And I said, you bitch, I know you listening. And he looked at me and realized that I knew that he could hear me, and was like, it's too late. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they was flying drones to listen, because we was sneaking in the food. We was sneaking in the grill. So they got mad and told my truck, because we outmaneuvered them. We put the grill on private property. You know what I'm saying? We was making moves, and this was him being petty.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people from the city called and was like, that was disgusting what he did to y'all.
Right.
But could you imagine, you got counterterrorism on 163rd and Sheridan. Our neighbors is going crazy. They don't know if it's ICE. They don't, you know what I'm saying? They don't know what's what. Like, all they know is they on the block, like, what's his name? Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden. And for what, bro? I have no violent charges. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like all they got me on is screaming at some pigs.
Yeah.
Right? Why?
It's not illegal.
Which is not illegal, right? But like, I'm not gonna take disrespect.
Right.
If cops ain't gonna take disrespect, if George Bush, when America gets bombed, could go on and say, we're gonna wipe the face of this evil off the earth, if they could talk like that, then black people could talk tough too.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So that's why they have a problem with us. But we win, bro. We win. It took us a while, but look where Eric Adams at now. and we just kept hitting them. Bang. Oh, y'all hiding cases. Your NYPD. The week after they did that on Juneteenth, we was in front of their office. Right? Exposing that they were hiding cases.
Right.
Where the people was getting choked and the commissioner of the police was hiding it.
Right.
Whatever we could get. They beating up people at the Dominican parade. Come on, press conference. We just gonna keep hitting you.
Right.
Right? We like I play better when I'm mad.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So
right.
This Jordan Neely thing which is a case that's on right now that's really important. The Michael Jackson impersonator who was killed by the subway strangler. A rich white boy from Long Island came to New York, saw a black person having a mental health crisis, and strangled him to death.
Right.
And this case is on. The mayor, the NYPD, released this man after 3 hours. Being at the trial, talking to reporters, the NYPD officer and the cop bonded over being on the Marines.
I remember this.
They tried to get certain things that he said omitted from trial. He said he was a crackhead. He called Jordan Neely a crackhead. He told the cops, I put him down. Like, exactly. And they were trying to get that thrown out. So we're fighting this battle because not only is it just a battle in court, but there's a battle in the media. So we're fighting that fight outside. And it's just getting a narrative out that people don't want to be on the wrong side of.
Right.
And we're really good at that. We've passed 7 pieces of legislation. It's a lot, man.
Right.
We're effective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's powerful what you said as far as like having that battle in the media. Like, in our 7 years of doing this work, I'm sure the two of us have seen so much just foul stuff inside the courtroom.
Yes.
That did not get any media attention.
Ever.
Yeah, like my man, we need to tell you a story about like my man was forced to take off like a Black Lives Matter pin
I was gonna
that he
ask.
wore every day for a trial. Like to tell.
Yeah, so like first, before I tell the story, let me ask you what you think the start of the Black Lives Matter movement is, because it relates to my story.
Trayvon Martin.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Great. And I lived in Florida when Trayvon Martin happened. I was a kid.
Okay.
And that was the beginning of me being radicalized and seeing what happened to Trayvon.
Amen.
So yeah, I wore this Black Lives Matter pin every day, like the first 2 or 3 years me starting practice. And then I did a trial that involved my client being charged with assault on a court officer because she came in, she was pregnant, came in through the mags. She had went to the wrong court building first. She was wearing a hat. Wasn't told to take her hat off in the other building. Came into the actual criminal court building, was coming through. They told her to take off her hat. Look, the sister, like, she didn't like how her hair looked that day, right? So she wasn't trying to take her hat off. She was like, why I need to take my hat off. They took that as disrespect, right? And they started manhandling her, threw her to the ground. She's pregnant meanwhile, threw her to the ground. And then one of the officers complained that during this, she hurt her knee.
Of course.
And so they charged my client with assault on that court officer. And so
could have been a felony.
Yeah.
Right? And they know they were wrong, so they didn't charge her with a felony.
Yeah.
Right? And so we go to trial for this. And I'm wearing my Black Lives Matter pin. I walk into court one day and the DA goes, Judge, I have some case law that says Mr. Blackburn should take off that Black Lives Matter pin. Judge goes, oh, that's funny, because I have some case law too. Judge is like, I'll give you 15 minutes to go.
Which means that both of them spent the night researching about how we can get this black man to take off this Black Lives Matter pin.
All
right. So he goes, I'll give you 15 minutes to do some research and make some arguments. And
15 minutes. You got to slow it down, brother. Yeah. These two people took a whole night to do research.
Nobody coming to court bombard me.
Right. He's like, you can argue it, but you got 15 minutes.
You got 15 minutes, right? And I was at the time I was co-counsel to somebody higher in the office at that point. And, she was like giving me grace in the moment. And she was like, hey, I could do this if you want, because I know this is a lot for you. I was like, hell no. Like, I'm making this argument. And so I go do 15 minutes of research. I come back, boom, boom, boom. I hit him over the head like, you're depriving my client of her Sixth Amendment right to her attorney, right? Like, you're trying to make me someone I'm not by taking off this pin, which means that my client is not getting the attorney that she requested.
Oh, wow.
Blah, blah, blah. I bring a bunch of arguments.
First Amendment right, all that.
First Amendment right to my free speech in court. And so we get into it, right? And then, like, there comes a point in time where, the judge is like, well, Mr. Blackburn, I'm familiar with the start of the Black Lives Matter movement, actually, right? The judge is white. So the judge tries to tell me that the Black Lives Matter movement started with Mike Brown, right? And by this point, I was already so I wasn't going to go into a back and forth with the judge.
Yeah.
No, actually, judge, it started with Trayvon Martin, right? But that is a whole atmosphere that this trial took on. And so we get into the jury selection process, right? And the DA strikes all.
Did you win the argument on the pen? Or?
No. He made me take it off, and so I take the pin off and I put it on my bag,
and then positions his bag in front of the jury.
Yeah, and the judge tells me to take the pin off of my bag and put it into my bag. Petty.
Yeah.
So I'm one to get petty too, so I'm like getting petty back. I was like, well, if I do that, Judge, I might hurt myself if I put my hand into the bag. And he didn't like that. And so that ended. And then we get into jury selection. And the DA proceeds to strike all the young black men off the jury, right? With the presumption, because a lot of them had been system impacted, obviously, because they're young black men in the Bronx, right? And so she kicks him off for all of these reasons, and I make a Batson argument. You might know what Batson is. It's a case that pretty much says that you can't strike jurors for non-race neutral reasons, right? If you're striking jurors for a racist reason, can't do that. That's unconstitutional.
Right.
So I raise this argument. And then
which requires them to provide
a race neutral reason.
Absolutely.
And their race neutral reason for a couple of them was that, they said they had bad experiences with the cops. And my argument was obviously, you can't divorce that from being black in America.
You absolutely
especially
cannot.
From being black in the Bronx. So that is not a race neutral reason.
Yeah.
Judge said that's sad locution, right? Like saying I shouldn't be making this type of argument. Well, I make the argument anyway because I know I'm right. I don't care what I'm saying at this point. And then, the makeup of the jury ends up being mostly white Latin people and then one sister at the end, right? And the judge goes, we get into an argument. We get into a back and forth about colorism at this point. Judge goes, Mr. Blackburn, well, you would agree that the jury is comprised of Latin people of color. And I'm just so done with everything at this point. I'm just let the record reflect that there are 5 white Latin people and 1 black woman. And that's it. And so that's the whole tenor of the trial. But he tried to lecture me on colorism and how Black Lives Matter movement started.
The privilege.
I'm I know it. I was there. I was maybe 3 hours away from where Trayvon happened. I was there.
What's so sad, right? Because for white people to get upset in that moment, the way that they express themselves is by being composed and formulating these arguments. That's their culture. Mm-hmm. Culturally, we amplify and project.
Right.
And we're going to get hot and hostile in that moment.
Because we've been silenced for so long.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's their culture to argue with their so-called decorum. But if you would have got offended and yelled, right, which you could have and what you could have done because you were traumatized, right, as many of us are, then they would have tried to make you seem like some crazy Negro.
Right. Which is why the media is just so important because that story needs to be told. Yeah. And that's only a fraction of the things that we experience in the walls of the courthouse.
I got a good story. A lot of these families are so traumatized. I can tell you horror stories. I wouldn't do it on camera. Yeah. About these families and the things that they go through and their experiences just with activists and with the system, and it just always gets ugly. But there is one case that I had in the Bronx, and this young man, Andrew Kears, he went to jail for holding a knife to a cab driver's throat. He had so many convictions I couldn't count. He had 9 babies by 20 different women. He was a blood. He had a tattoo everywhere you could put it. But the argument that I made to the press was, I don't care who he was. I don't care what his character was. He did not deserve to die in the back of a police car after screaming for his life for help 17 times. I think it was like 70 times, right? In like 20 minutes. It was ridiculous, right? So we have to do that because a reporter said that to me. Yeah. Somebody, if I said his name, everybody would know who he is. He said, isn't that the guy with all the kids with all the baby mamas? Isn't that the guy, the blood guy with this, that? So not only am I fighting against this white supremacist system, I'm fighting against the white supremacy in the newsroom, right? And we have to come up with stories and narratives that attack white supremacy, but still can make its way through mainstream media, through the newsrooms. And a lot of what we do is we use optics, we use posters to get messages out. So next week, we're going to the trial of Daniel Penny with, my sister came up with the name at lunch yesterday, Subway Strangler. Posters, right? Because they want him to look like he's talking to the judge. Hi, judge, how are you? How are you guys? To the jury. They want to paint this all-American boy, so they stop calling him Daniel and call him Danny. So I'm going to print a poster of him choking Jordan Neely, and on top of it is going to say Danny Penny, the Subway Strangler. Right? You see what we did, right on. You see what we did for Andrew Kears. And because of sexism, they give me a lot of credit for the stuff my sister does. And I don't mind, because I take it. I
can't dap it up. I can't dap it up.
But I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it real. You ain't going to give me nothing either? No. But the real.
I'll dap you up for
right on.
What are you doing?
No, you know why you're going to dap me up? Because I'm always going to give it back.
Heard you.
To her.
Yes.
Because if she was, a man, there would be so much more to be said about her, even though she ain't no slouch.
Right.
People know her, she gets shouted out in Gotham City when she walk in. Oh, she be fighting with her. You know Gotham City?
Nah.
On 125th?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I knew it. Not
the flower shop.
Yeah,
not as a name.
We call it the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but my sister, when we were fighting to get the cop fired who killed Eric Garner, Daniel Pantaleo, she was like, forget all them pictures. Let's use Eric Garner's high school picture. Tux, clean cut, bow tie. That picture and her carrying a picture won one of the Time Magazine's photos of the year, right? But it wasn't Eric Garner in the t-shirt and cargo shorts arguing. It was him with a bow tie, looking like an adorable high school kid, right? Somebody who's a little bit more sympathetic. And it's important to understand those nuances. And I wouldn't understand these things. Deborah Dana, you heard of Deborah Dana? She was a 60-plus-year-old black woman who was shot 3 times with a Smith & Wesson by NYPD Sergeant Hugh Barry. She was having a mental health episode. It was documented in the precinct. All the cops there were showing restraint. Sergeant Hugh Barry came in and killed her. Why? Because to him, a black life was worthless. So he murdered. These other officers did not shoot her, and they were there for 40 minutes. This was 2017.
Okay.
Within 15 minutes of him being there, he killed her. He said she picked up a bat. But what you do with a 65-year-old lady with a bat?
Picks up a bat. Come on.
So I stood in front of the DA's office, Darcel Clark and them, every day for months with a bullhorn, freezing cold February. And now I'm laying out the charges, right? And I'm talking about how he met all the elements of the crime, right? And when they indicted him and pretty much used the same analysis that I used in front of their office. You understand? So that law school experience helps with the activism.
Right.
Because now when Jordan Neely got manslaughter, I wanted murder, but I know, Jake, it's what you could prove, Jake. Remember that in Training Day? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I know they could prove manslaughter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So a lot of people was like, no, we want to murder.
Right.
This is New York City.
Yeah.
Home of the racist liberal.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And we gotta play it and accept it how it is. Right. You know what I'm saying?
If he was charged with murder, he probably could have beat that, and now he's not getting held accountable at all.
Word.
Right.
And this, I ain't gonna lie, her name is Daphne, the prosecutor. Yesterday, they were getting voir dire. She's like, listen, She defined recklessness, right? And then she said, even if he started out doing something good, even if he was trying to be a hero, when he choked him to death, he went too far. Do you have a problem with finding someone guilty who started out trying to do the right thing? I was like, damn.
That's good.
She just snatched the soul out of the defense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that was just beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
It's weird rooting for prosecutors.
Yeah.
It is, but it's less weird when it's someone who has murdered a black boy.
Word.
Yeah.
Word. And Alvin Bragg.
Uh-huh.
I mean, bro, like, let me tell you, strategic activism, Jordan Neely. When Jordan Neely got killed, the police let him go in 3 hours. I gave it a day. I called my sister, like, yo, it's been a day. She was like, bet, I'm working on a press release. You shoot the video for social media. Mm-hmm. Social media, I'm like, yo, it's been a day. Al Sharpton, none of these activists, and our mayor have not said anything about this white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Marine choking, strangling this black boy on the subway. Mm-hmm. Right? None of y'all said nothing. So here's the mayor's phone number. I need everybody in New York City back, and all the black blogs picked it up, ran with it, boom. I called the mayor's office before to see what was going on. Nobody said nothing to me. The first call I got was like, please tell them to take that phone number out of the social media posts. Mm-hmm. That's a nice woman. Mm-hmm. She doesn't deserve all these phone calls she gave. Man, what about this case? Mm-hmm. Clay banged it on him. And so now we putting the pressure on. We shutting down bridges.
Yeah.
Other groups shut down the trains. You know what I'm saying? The last day was the mayor stood behind the killer and the police for letting him go. Yeah. And the last day was, we said we're going now to Alvin Bragg's office and we're sleeping outside until he indicts him and charges him. We went out there at 12 o'clock. 5 o'clock, Alvin Bragg and them had a press conference. He must turn himself in now.
Wow.
Real shit. That's the power of the people. And the thing is, Alvin Bragg considers himself to be one of us. Mm-hmm. Now, I'll tell you the truth. I didn't like him because he worked for the Attorney General's office. Mm-hmm. And the killer of Delron Small, he oversaw that prosecution and let that cop get away. So Alvin Bragg called me and was like, I want an endorsement. No, bro, I'm not hearing you. I'm gonna put you in power and you let a killer cop get away? Nah, but I'm not gonna lie to you. Since he took office, he got Trump. He going after Eric Adams. Mm-hmm. He got this subway strangler. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I can't talk about the ins and outs, but I know he ain't been prosecuting no activists. Mm-hmm. You know, so just having a pro-black Christian, I'm a huge Bible thumper. Yeah, a pro-black Christian prosecutor. This is the realest. I've never seen nothing like him.
Yeah. And
I'm happy that Darcel Clark didn't have this case.
Yeah.
Because Darcel Clark's husband is a cop.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a cop. Mm-hmm. And the way they do black people in the Bronx is foul.
Right.
You understand? Right. So I'm happy.
Trust me.
Just call me. All y'all gotta do is call me your Hawk. You know? Yeah, we're gonna be outside.
Listen, I got about maybe a year and some change left of the Bronx offender, so I might be hollering at you pretty soon.
Bro, trust me. We need black lawyers. You know what I'm saying? Sadly, because of the way white supremacy works and generational wealth works, you have a lot of white lawyers who come into this space that can take cases on a contingency and wait around for that money. Just like white boys could go and work on Wall Street and not worried about pay until they close their first deal. Black folks got to pay bills. Right? So you got a lot of black folks who should be handling the criminal and the civil and just waiting around for that check to come in. They can't move like that. because of the economics of it. So we need to get some black people situated so we can get them some big cases,
Right.
and they can handle both, and we can just take care of our own how we supposed to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I got a question. Earlier, you mentioned that you and your organization were successful in pushing 7 legislative bills. Can you tell us what bills they were?
Oh man, it was the first. We negotiated with Governor Cuomo. Now, Governor Cuomo is a politician,
Yeah.
but he's somebody you can sit down at a table and make a deal with. He wanted my help on his campaign. He wanted to do a march with us. I put 7 things in front of him. He gave us 2, so that got him to march. You can march me on Martin Luther King Day now. All right. What he did was he gave 35,000 parolees a pardon.
Wow.
So that they could get their voting rights back.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Then when the NY City Council did qualified immunity, right? Then we had the 2020, we just got back from Minnesota. He called and was like, yo, Hawk, this God's honest truth. People trying to take control of the Black Lives Matter movement. They trying to take it from you. You need to get with me, and we're gonna put you in a commercial and say, you the head of the Black Lives Matter movement, and you working with the state of New York on racial equality. Sir, respectfully, keep your commercial. Now I know 99.9% of activists would have been like, what?
Yeah.
I'm on a whole commercial for myself in New York City saying that I'm top dog? Nah, I don't need that.
Yeah.
What I need is legislation for the people.
Right.
So me and my team put together 25 pieces of legislation or legislative suggestions and gave it to him. He came back with 5. One was the end of solitary confinement, I think. It was the Say Her Name Act. If you look at the Say Her Name Act, you see everything in there. Okay. No, it was something for agent prisoners was one. The independent prosecutor was made in the law. There was something where we made racial equity commissions happen all over the city. New York was forced to do it, and we both hated de Blasio, so we put the press on him. He squeezed from one and I squeezed from one end. But what they did with that was kind of corny because they put other groups that didn't have a fight and a dog in the fight who didn't force it to happen. Right. So what you see is when we did the Say Her Name Act.
That's Layleen Polanco, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did the Say Her Name Act. Al Sharpton was on stage with him. Al Sharpton ain't had nothing to do with that. That was us.
Wow.
Because they wanted niggas to stop tearing shit up in the street. And I can't tell niggas to stop tearing shit up in the street, but I know what you could do to make them be like, all right, we're going to chill for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So we did that. And Al Sharpton went up there and signed it. We went and we had a big thing called a blueprint, the black print in Times Square. Your mayor, de Blasio, shut off all the Times Square because we was coming. From 42nd and Broadway and 7th to 54th. No soul could go into Times Square.
That's crazy.
Gangsta, because we was coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But what we did was we set up on 47th and Broadway. We had a stage. Because back then, 2020, everybody wanted to hold Black Lives Matter. So we had Broadway people come and set up a stage. But we had 40,000. Stupid out there. And we pushed all of it. We knew we had 5 on deck. But another activist group in the city, he was alerted to. And they held a rally for just those 5 pieces, which they knew. It's corny, but this is the way it works. This is why black people in the position they are. It ain't all white supremacy. It's these black misleaders.
I mean, and this is adopted white supremacy, right? They've internalized it.
Kamala Harris. Who else? Kamala Harris. Eric Adams.
Yeah.
Like, look, I hate everybody, bro. I listen. This election is gonna be crazy.
You know, I feel like it's easy to, like, these statements sound somewhat polarizing at times, but like it's honestly not. Like if your main concern is the liberation of black people, then it makes your decision making very easy. Did this person advance that? No. If they don't, I don't rock with it.
Then I don't rock with it.
I think it's actually very simple.
It's very
Because if people ain't banging with Israel, then Jewish people is not banging with them. But we got to carry the burden for everybody.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, immigration is a very touchy subject with black American people. But
it's a black issue.
yeah, because so we like, yo, hold on, check this out. If you letting people in and giving them homes, then there shouldn't be no homeless black people. And for me to say that, activists be like, Hawk, how dare you? Nigga, fuck you. Fuck you and your mama. From my heart. Because you want us to take a back seat and not speak up. I'm not punching down on nobody. But what I'm saying is what's fair is what's fair. And I'm pointing out the faults in this government. Like, I get so passionate about this, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you got money for everybody, but you don't have any money for reparations.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I love my Nigerian brothers and sisters. I love my African, my West Indian brothers and sisters. And come on. And get in and let's come and once you get here, let's build.
Right.
But don't ever fix your face to talk down on black Americans and be like, yo, you sitting back, you lazy because this is easy. And I'm like, yo, you really don't understand. For people who don't think they can, like, you've shown so much to be able to pick yourself up, get out of a country that was bad for you. That initiative you showed is amazing. A lot of people in the world don't possess it. Don't come here and judge people who have been beaten into submission.
Right.
You know what I mean? So once we start, like, that's why can't no black person call me and me not help them. Yeah. I don't care if they black, speak Spanish, don't know they black like some Dominicans. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if they black African. I'm popping out.
Right.
But just know that I'm black American first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'll be mad when Jamaica be running all over us in the Olympics. Because you proud. You Jamaican. You go, yeah, boy, the boy run Usain Bolt. And I love you for that, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what you proud of. You going to be Jamaica first. I'm black American first. But at the same time, we going to come together. We going to lock in the same way they do. Because if it's one thing white people going to do, if you white, no matter where you come from in the world, once you step into this country, you part of the team. If not you, then your first generation is locked in to all the benefits and privileges of white people, whiteness.
Right.
So we really got to figure this out.
That's a bar. All right, so I really want to have you back here because I feel like we barely touched the surface, and someone like you, I know you got stories for days.
Oh man, we got some fun.
I want to allocate more time to that, but
and my sister
unfortunately,
getting beat in the back with batons.
you know, and also next time I would love to have you on the podcast as well. And thank you. I'm gonna hit you up pretty soon, actually, for sure. We end every episode asking our guests to say some game. We always say that we don't do legal advice. We just give free game. That's what we do here. So some kind of creative intelligence, as our last guest just said. But yeah, a closing argument, closing words, parting words to anybody who engages with the podcast. Two of us will also share some piece of wisdom or just something on our hearts. What's one thing, in addition to all the gems you dropped already, that you would love to leave the people with?
I think I'll say, fuck the frail shit. Because my coke come in, they gotta use the scale. No, I'm kidding. That's Jada. These niggas like, what? No. But like right now, if black people haven't realized that Trump and the Republicans want to put us back in chains, and the Democrats want to keep us poor, godless, and stuck in the same situation, then we never will. The key is building in our community. We built the school, we got the blueprint. We fed thousands, we got the blueprint. We are vibing with like-minded people across the country. We got a militia. We got people who can teach you how to defend yourself. We got people who grow watermelons. Like, I'm not saying you gotta be with us, but we know what it takes. And I think that y'all should get with us, or at least unify with people around you. And lastly, I think all black children should go to law school.
I love that.
Because it's just the way it makes you think.
Yeah.
Right? You ain't got to practice law, but you should be able to apply that logical reasoning to these situations, because that's what they do. All right?
I love that.
Yeah.
What you got, Conrad?
It's a lot from this one. I think from this episode, I'll say my piece of game is to stand on your principles, right? Be principled to your beliefs. Be principled to who you are. Don't let anyone trick you out of your trait, right? Because as we learned today, people are going to come at you from multiple different angles, and they're going to try to divorce you from your standpoint, right? But like, if you know who you are and you know what your principles are, you can always come back to those, and you're not doing yourself or your community a disservice, right?
Yeah.
And I say that for black people.
Word.
And I'm going to cheat on piggyback off yours. Like, not only stand on it, but I feel like people don't know what their principles are. I don't think people have sat down and be like, this is what I believe, this is what I stand on. It's a whole bunch of groupthink, a whole bunch of like, oh, okay, I have identified as a Democrat my whole life, so I'm going to attribute myself to this mindset. But you've never really thought, how do I feel about this issue? So sit down, think about the issues, define how you feel about those issues, and then let your decisions, such as voting, dictate, who you vote for, or if you vote, if you don't vote. But know who you are, learn who you are, and decide based off that.
Wow.
Yo, Hawk, I appreciate you. Love to have you back on the podcast, brother.
Let me know.
I'm gonna hit you up. I would love to build with you outside of this.
Right on.
So we're gonna be in touch for sure. Shout out Roland for making the contact,
bro.
man. It's the homie.
I wish we got 2 seconds.
Ro made this contact?
Ro made the connection,
you
brother.
got 2 seconds.
Ro.
Yes, go ahead.
We were protesting, and they told Ro to arrest us. Arrest me, and he refused to. And then somehow, some way, we got together later, and Ro is one of us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Ro is somebody who stands on his principles.
Right. I love him. But yeah, I appreciate y'all. We have come to the end of another episode of the Brothers-in-Law podcast. A lovely one. I can't wait for this to drop. There's gonna be some more coming. But yeah, everyone take care and stay tuned. Holla at y'all. We out.